Hi guys, happy Tuesday. Welcome to the morning after. I am your host, Charlene Joint, and today we are recapping episode 2 of season 15 of The Bachelorette. And as you guys know, I start off every one of these videos with a Buzziest Moment, and that's brought to you by Starbucks at Home, and that's available at your local grocery store. And yeah, this is a moment that sort of stands out to me in some way, or that I find memorable, or some sort of like a lightning rod that I just want to talk about this. So this week's Buzziest Moment, brought to you by Starbucks at Home, is when Darren, on the second group date, this kind of comes out of nowhere if I'm honest. We didn't really see much of Darren, and we wouldn't ultimately see a lot from Darren because he ended up going home last night. But he said one thing that just was such a mic drop moment that I had to make it my Buzziest Moment. It's when Cam came and interrupted the second group date, and Darren, in a man chat that, you know, was sort of a throwaway, he said, the one thing that Hannah looks for in someone is someone who's bold, and I think one thing that comes with bold is being confident, and what he did shows none of that. This sort of, I wrote, this man, yes, in all caps. What I love is that it really shows thinking past the immediate offense of Cam, bombarding this date. Like, obviously there's a reason why Cam would do that, and it does come from a lack of confidence. And it's just funny how all these other guys are confronting Cam one by one and sort of like being kind of mildly threatening. And the real dig is from Darren in this quiet, astute way. And it really stood out to me, and I just made me want to see more of Darren, and then he went home last night. So anyway, that was my Buzziest Moment. And yeah, let's move on to the episode. All right. So the guys have moved into the mansion, and right off the bat, Luke P's like, I can see myself falling in love with Hannah, getting married, having a family with her, etc. And this is not a pickup. It's clearly from when he's just moved in. And there's still 18 or so men. So the two options here are either he's sincere and crazy because he's putting all his eggs in one basket and really thinks he's going to win, or two, he's faking it. By the end of the episode, I am actually leaning towards a 1 because I really think Luke believes what he's saying, but I'll get to that in a bit. Okay, so group date number 1. Can we just talk about this? I do this every season, every Bachelorette season. But if the genders were reversed, can we just think about how wrong this pageant group date would be? Not the talent portion, obviously, the swimsuit portion, like the Speedos. Just imagine a world in which the women are made to strut in like tiny bikinis for The Bachelor. And it's just so funny how it's accepted as like, haha, you have to wear this tiny thing in front of people when it's a Bachelorette season. However, when it's women, it's referred to as a sort of natural thing. Like, of course you'd be in bikinis because we're going to the beach. And of course you'd wear glittery lingerie because it's Moulin Rouge. It's never like, haha, you have to wear this tiny thing. It's always just sort of played down, while with the men it's like, haha, we're going to objectify you. My theme this week is recycled content. And to me, these are things that we've just seen over the years, and they're just tired and done. And I talk about this in my flavor recap. It's to me obvious that Luke wins Mr. Right, the Mr. Right pageant. That's just recycled content. I mean, of course he was gonna, because if Jed won, there's nothing to talk about. The guys would be like, yeah, Jed deserved to win. But by Luke winning, that immediately creates friction. And to me, that just felt done. We've seen it before. And it is funny how the guys are still, it's early enough in the season that the guys are still kind of careful when talking about it. Like, they're like, oh yeah, that's not something I would do. Like, it does feel really fast. But if this were episode 5, they'd be like, that bleeping bleep. It would be, they'd be a lot less careful, I think. Jed gets the group date rose, despite calling drag queens drags. If you want a giggle, just look on Twitter, #The Bachelorette drags. Okay, Tyler G gets a 1-on-1. It's a fun looking activity. They go 4-wheeling, is that what you call it? 4-wheeling in the mud. It looks really fun. I hate to say this. Tyler G, I don't know whether he's boring or whether we just didn't get any. It kind of felt like it was all about Hannah and her experience when she was in his position. We didn't really learn anything about Tyler G, but also the things he did say to me felt extremely basic. Like, yeah, it's good to be yourself. Like, life's too short, and let's all do a little good. It's like, okay, do you have anything to say that doesn't sound like a meme. He repeatedly says he feels like the luckiest guy in the universe. He repeatedly refers to Hannah as amazing and awesome. I just don't get any distinct flavor from Tyler G, and I don't think how this date was edited did him any favors. But nonetheless, I wrote, this guy defines bland. Based on this date. Maybe we'll see more of Tyler G and he'll be awesome, but that's just, those are my thoughts on him. Okay, group date number 2. I enjoyed this because I am not above finding grown men falling while rollerblading or roller skating entertaining. I thought it was pretty funny. Recycled content. The guy that sucks the most, Connor, gets extra one-on-one time, and you see the guys kind of like, oh, that's a good ploy. We've seen this year after year, season after season. Dustin gets one-on-one time in the evening, and you always got to make time for the injured person, recycled content. And I find Dustin adorable. I love that he could admit that he's a quieter personality in a sea of like really, bold was the word of the episode. In a sea of bold men, he was like, I'm not really like that, and I'll find other ways to be bold for you. I just thought that was kind of a sweet moment. And yeah, he ended up getting the rose because, again, recycled content. Usually the injured guy is gonna get the rose on that group day. Okay, rose ceremony. Cam hijacks Kevin's one-on-one time, and he hijacked the group date. There's nothing. Cam, I talked about him in my Flair recap, so I just don't want to waste breath on him now. It just feels so contrived. Like, who does these things? I always say this, like, yes, producers can encourage you to do anything, and there's no question that they did in this case, but you have control over your actions. Everyone is responsible for what they do on this show. There's a million times that producers are like, hey, you could do this, and you can be like, no, I don't want to do that. And they're like, okay. And they'll go up to the next person, so Cam is that person, and I just can't help but think that you're missing some sort of a screw. I don't understand why you would sacrifice your, character in front of like millions of people just for airtime. I don't really get it. Okay, I've got to say, Hannah's chemistry with Luke P is through the roof. It makes for a great twist. It gives sort of Ben Flajnik and Courtney Robertson vibes because, Hannah's smart enough to see that Luke is not, she refers to him as the dessert, but not the main course. And it's just interesting how, she's still just so attracted to him. She just can't help herself. And I find that really compelling when that happens. It's much more compelling than when clearly they see that and there's not a lot of chemistry, but they just sort of keep them around because it's, drama. It's so much more interesting to me when she clearly just really is attracted to him. And of course, recycled content, Cam's name is called last at the rose ceremony. No surprise there. All right, you guys, thank you for tuning in to the morning after. This is kind of a lackluster episode, I'm not gonna lie. It was too much like something we've seen before, even though Hannah herself, it does feel fresh and new. But yeah, the format of this episode felt kind of like, okay, is there anything new? Thank you for tuning in. Be sure to read my Flair recap. It's out now, and my Pretty Pandas recap, which will come out later this week. And yeah, thank you for tuning in to the morning after. I'll see you guys here next week.